Hello everyone. Okay, so in this session I'm going to demonstrate how we can use the easy method to calculate the internal forces in the truss structures. So I have mentioned in the last class, the easy method can be used to accelerate the process of calculation for the internal forces in the truss structure. So basically in the virtual work method, so we need to calculate the internal forces for the real diagram and for the virtual diagram. Okay, so this will be very time consuming, okay, especially in the test or in the examination. So in order to accelerate this process, so we will use the easy method to calculate the internal forces in the structures. Okay, so basically the easy method is the simplification of the method of joints. So meaning that we still abide by the rule of a method of joints in order to use this particular easy method approach. Okay, so without further ado, let's look how we can use this method in order to calculate the internal forces in the structures. Okay, so one of the key point of the easy method is about the mind map. Okay, so by using the method of joint that I have demonstrated in the last class, you need to go from point to point. So you need to choose the point where the numbers of unknown not more than 2. Okay, so the same concept will be applied for the easy method, but here we will not we will not take out equation, okay, from point to point. So we just use our mind map, just a minimum calculation. Okay, so let's look on this particular structures that we have used in the previous class to calculate the virtual work method for the structure system, okay, the diffraction by using the virtual work method. Okay, so by looking on this structure system, actually you need to choose a point where the numbers of unknowns not more than 2. So straightforward, actually you can go to joint C. Okay, because in the joint C, you can see that they have 2 unknowns, which is a DC and a CD, where this is the only numbers of unknown at this joint. Okay, so besides that, you can start at the joint A and the joint E, but then you need to calculate the reaction at support. Okay, but here I don't want to calculate the reaction at support. So due to that, I only have options at the joint C. Okay, so let's concentrate on the joint C. At the joint C. Okay, so at the joint C, you can see that we have 15 kN load downwards. We have unknown forces due to the member CD and the member CB. Okay, so based on the method of joint, so you need to ensure that the summation of force in the vertical and horizontal must be equal to 0. In other words, the condition must be in equilibrium condition. Okay, so let's look on the vertical direction. Okay, so in the vertical direction, we have a 15 kN downwards, and actually we have another component, which is the vertical component that resulting from this particular member. Okay, so and also actually you can have another component of horizontal component due to this particular member. Okay, so why I'm putting this arrow upwards and with amount of 15 kilonewton in this slide. Okay, so what you can see here at the joint C, okay, so we have 15 kilonewton downwards, and we have components from this member CD, which is in order to balance up with this particular 15 kilonewton applied load. So the same amount of 15 kilonewton load must be applied, but then here is opposite from this particular directions. Okay, so only 2 terms in these directions at the joint C. So the 15 kilonewton applied load and the component from this member DC. Okay, so by checking the total forces in this vertical direction at the joint C, you can see that the total force is equal to 0. Okay, so let's check on the horizontal direction. Okay, so to get the horizontal forces, I mean the internal forces in the member BC. Okay, So you need to check how many terms, how many force acting in the horizontal direction at the joint C. Okay, so due to this direction of component, okay, 15 kilonewton upwards that you have identified based on the vertical direction. So this will result the arrow of horizontal component towards the left. Okay, so toward the left. Okay, so and another component that we have in this horizontal direction is due to the member BC. So we have only two terms or two forces that acting in the horizontal direction at the joint C. So this component from a horizontal component from member DC and the unknown forces from the member BC. So only two. Okay. So so actually you can get the value of horizontal component for this arrow. Okay, where you can do a backward calculations. So normally we know that by using the method of joints, so actually you will resolve all the forces into component. But here we will do the backward calculations where you can see by looking on this particular equation. Okay, so this is a normal way where we resolve the forces into component. So, but here the 15 kilonewton component is already obtained. So FDC is the internal forces. So sine 45 is since we looking on the vertical direction, okay, where this is 45 degree. So same with this particular angle at joint C. Okay, so the equation that you can take out from here is FDC sine 45 degree. So rearrange this equation, so you will get this particular equation. FDC equal to 15 over sin 45 degree. Okay, so from this equation, actually you can get the value of FDC, which is the internal forces for member DC. Okay, so to get the value of sine, I mean the forces in the member, so I'm using the Excel so to demonstrate how to get the value of F, the internal forces. So the angle is 45, the component is 15, which is referred to the vertical component. Okay, so I'm refer this to X as the vertical component. Okay, so and you can see that the F is equal to 21.21. Actually, these are internal forces for member DC here. Okay, so we have identified that the value of internal forces in member DC is equal to 45 degree. So let's indicate in the diagram. So this is 21.21. Okay, kilonewtons. Okay, is it I'm right here? Okay, let's check again. Okay, 21.21. Okay, correct. Okay, so this is my internal forces. Let's indicate the arrow. Okay, so this is the arrow of okay, so this is the arrow for the structures for the internal forces for this member. Okay, so 21.21. Okay, so for the horizontals, so in a horizontal direction, you need to find out these components first. Okay, so we know that this is 21.21 kilonewton. So to get this particular horizontal component, so you need to use the what? You need to convert this. You need to resolve this internal forces of DC into horizontal component by multiplying this 21.21 kilonewton with the cos of 45. So actually, cos 45 is 1. So you'll get the horizontal component for this resultant forces of DC is equal to 15 kilonewton as well. Okay, so we have calculated the value of horizontal component of 15 kilonewton, which is to the left. Okay, so we know that the only forces that acting at a joint C in horizontal direction is this component and the unknown forces in the member BC. So we know that this is a 15 kilonewtons value to the left. So to balance up this particular 15 kilonewton forces, so you need to apply the same amount of 15 kilonewton force to the right. So meaning that you need to apply a 15 kilonewtons to the right for this particular member BC. So let's indicate the arrow. So this is the arrow for this direction forces. Okay, so this amount is equal to 15 kilonewtons load as well to balance up this particular component, horizontal component, which is come from this internal forces of member DC. Okay, so move this aside. Okay, so this change this to 15 kilonewton. Okay, so make it a red color for this member, for this value. Okay, so this is under compression. So you can see that the arrow is towards the joints. So similarly for this member BC, so it is under compression as well. So let's complete the arrow. Okay, so you can see that we just determine the internal forces for member DC, which is 21.21 kilonewtons. Basically, is the member DC is under compression. So for member BC, is a compression as well with amount of 15 kilonewton load. So we have solved the internal forces for DC and BC. Okay, so let's move to another joint. So you need to choose the number. The joint consists not more than 2 numbers of unknown. Okay, so at the joint B. Okay, so by looking on the numbers of unknowns, BD, BE, and BA is remains unknown. So BC is already obtained based on the previous joints. So we can't to move to joint B since the numbers of unknowns is more than 2. So let's check on joint D. Okay, so at the joint D, you can see that we have member DA, DE, DB, and DC. But we have solved for the internal forces for the member DC based on the previous joint. So the numbers of unknown for this joint is D, E, and DB. So which satisfied with the conditions or the rule of a method of joint. Okay, so the next joints that will be considered here is the joint D. Okay, so let's check the vertical and horizontal direction of forces. Okay, so if you look on the vertical directions, actually we have BD from the forces which is from the member BD. Okay, so and we have another vertical component from a member DC. Okay, so I'll indicate here. Okay, let's move this a bit here. Okay, so we know that this is a component that resulted from this particular internal process. So we know that this value is a 15 kilonewton based on the previous joint that we have calculated. This also gives the same amount of load, the forces in horizontal, 15 kilonewton. Okay, so by looking on in the vertical direction at the joint Z, so you can see that we have this term of forces, and we have this term of vertical components of forces resulting from this member DC. So only two term of forces in this direction, in the vertical direction at the joint D, which has come from this member and this component. So this value of a vertical component is a 15 kilonewton upwards. Okay, since we have identified in the previous joint. Okay, so to balance up this particular 15 kilonewton load upwards, so you need to apply the same amount of internal forces, which is the same amount of forces which is in opposite directions. So meaning that you need to apply 15 kilonewton load downwards in the member DB. Okay, so let's indicate the arrow in this diagram. Sorry. I'm supposed to copy this one. So this is an arrow. Okay, so the amount is a 15 kilonewton load. Okay, so the arrow is towards the joint. Okay, so to make it this arrow complete for this member, so I need to indicate this arrow as well towards joint D. Okay, so we have done for this. Okay, sorry, I think better I'm using this. So this is a 15 kilonewton. Okay, so we just solve for the internal forces in member DB. Okay, so the internal forces for member DB is a 15 kilonewtons in compression because the arrow is towards the joint. Okay, so we have another unknown forces at this joint to be solved, which is member DE. Okay, let's relook on the how many forces that acting in horizontal for the at the joint D. So in horizontal, we have these internal forces from DE and the horizontal component from this particular member DC, which is 15 kilonewton. Okay, so 15 kilonewton is to the left. Okay, only two terms in these directions, in the horizontal directions. 15 kilonewton to the left, okay, from this component from this member, and the internal forces from member DE. So since this 15 kilonewton is to the left, so to balance up this 15 kilonewton forces, you need to apply 15 kilonewton load opposite from this horizontal component. Okay, so let's indicate the arrow. Okay, so this is the directions of forces to the right. Okay, so to balance up with this particular 15 kilonewtons horizontal component to the left. Okay, so copy down this value. Okay, so actually the same amounts of a 15 kilonewton load. Okay. So let's complete the force means the signs of these forces for this member. Okay, so okay, so we have done to solve the internal forces in member DE and member DB. You can see that the internal forces is 15 kilonewtons. Okay, so okay, what is the next joints that we can move to? So by looking on the joint E, actually since we do not determine the direction at support, so they have more than two unknowns, which is come from direction support, okay, which is and the member EB. So they have three numbers of unknowns. So this is a reaction support 2 and the member EB. So how about the member AB? Okay, member at the joint A. Sorry. So at the joint A, you can see that the same thing happens. So two reactions and one internal process in the member AB. So three numbers of unknowns. So meaning that we need to move to joint B. Okay, so at the joint B, we have how many forces? So this member BA, BE, BD, and BC, including this 10 kilonewton load. So we have 5 numbers of forces acting on this particular joint B. Okay, but here actually we have solved 2 of them, which is a member DB and DC. So the only unknowns here is at the joints is BE and BA. Okay, so which is comply with the rule in the method of joints, which is not more than 2. Okay, meaning that the joint B will be selected for the next joint. Okay, let's focus on the joint B. So to solve the internal forces in the member BE and BA. Okay, so we need to repeat the same procedure as previous joints. So we need to ensure that the summation of force in the vertical and horizontals at the joint must be in equilibrium. In other words, must be equal to 0. Okay, let's look on the vertical directions. In the vertical directions, actually we have this 10 kilonewtons load downwards from the external applied load. We have a 15 kilonewton load downwards. Okay, so and there will be vertical and horizontal components for this member BE. Okay, let's recheck. Okay, so at this joint B in the vertical directions, we have 3 numbers of forces acting on this particular joint B. So 10 kilonewton, 15 kilonewton from the member DB, and vertical component from this member EB. We do not know whether this vertical component are acting upwards or downwards. Okay, so let's recheck. Okay, by considering the summation of force is equal to 0. Okay, so we know that the 15 kilonewtons internal forces from DB is acting downwards. Okay, similarly for the external forces, 10 kilonewtons in the same directions downwards. So the total forces vertically downwards is equal to 25, and left of forces here is come from the vertical component from this member. Okay, so in order to balance up these 2 of these forces, which is 15 and 10, which result in 25 kilonewtons in total, so we need to apply 25 kilonewton load upwards. Okay, so meaning that the vertical component for this member, for member EB, is equal to 25 kilonewton. Okay, so move this a bit. So this will be 25. Sorry, 25. This is 25 kilonewton. Okay, so by that actually you can indicate the horizontal component for this member. Yeah. Okay. So and the angles is 45 degree as well. Okay. So this is a 45 degree as well. So in order to calculate the internal forces for member EB, you need to do the backward calculation, where here is a 25 over sine 45. Okay, let's recheck. So this is 25. The angle remain the same. So my internal forces for member EB is equal to, sorry, let's go. EB is a 35.36. Okay, so copy down this one. Okay, sorry, not this one, or this one. So this is 35.36. Okay. So we just solve for the internal forces in a member EB. Okay. So the arrow of this joint is in compressions as well. Okay. Okay, so let's we look in a horizontal direction. So we have solved, checked the vertical directions and satisfied with the equilibrium equations. So throughout that, we have solved the internal forces in the member EB. So in the horizontal directions, we check the numbers of forces acting at the joint B. Okay, so in the horizontal, we have 15 kilonewton from member CB to the left. Okay, so and the horizontal component from this member. So for sure, this will be equal to 25 as well, because cos 45 will result equal to 1 value. So multiply with this 35.36. So you'll get the same amount of 25 kilonewtons horizontally, meaning that the vertical and horizontal components is equals due to the angle of 45 degree. Okay, so and this will be the unknown that we will solve in this joint in horizontal. So the same amount of forces, which is a 3 amount of forces acting in the horizontal, okay, from this member BC, and the horizontal component from this member EB and this member AB. But here, 2 of them we have identified. So the only unknowns in the system is AB. Okay, so by looking on the direction of forces, you can see that 15 kilonewtons is acting to the left. Similarly, for the horizontal component from member EB to the left. So in total, the force to the left is 40 kilonewton. 25 plus 15, 40 kilonewton. To balance up this force of 40 kilonewton to the left, so obviously you need to apply 40 kilonewton to the right. Okay, so let's indicate the diagram. So this the direction of 40 kilonewton, which is towards the joint B, meaning that this member is under compression. So this is a 40 kilonewton. Okay, let's complete the sign of this member. Okay, so we have done, and you can see that I'm just to obtain all the internal forces in the truss structure system by using the easy method. Okay, so to master this method, actually you need to do a lot of exercise. You may to look on textbooks. There is many problem solution in there. Try to use the solution and try to check that particular value that has been solved in that solution by using the easy method. Okay, let's recheck our answer with respect to the value in the table. Okay, so this is a value in the table. So AB is a negative 40. Okay, so this is the, where is AB? AB is a negative 40 in compressions. So we just got the same value. BC is a negative 15. BC, where is BC? Okay, BC is a negative 15. We got the same value, the same state of stress compression. BD is negative 15 as well. BD. So that's the VD. BD 50 kilonewtons compression as well. BE 35.335 in or you can consider 2 decimal point 35.36 in tension. It has 35.36 in tension. So I think I have something wrong with this my calculation here. Okay, so I'm supposed to get this is okay, so wait for a while. The CD is a 21.21 in tension. CD is a tension. Okay, so CD is in a tension. Sorry, I'm supposed to change. Okay, they have something. Something wrong. So I'm supposed to show this arrow towards there. It's out of the joint. Okay, sorry. Actually, this is supposed to be in tensions because outward of the joint. So my arrow is wrong here. I have made a mistake on this. So I'm supposed to change this towards here. Okay. So this is supposed to be tensions. I think the similar thing must be changed for this member EB. So this must be in tensions because you can see that my component is in these directions. Okay, so 21. Okay, for DC and EB is under tension. Okay. CD is a 21.21. So okay, so we have checked this tension. So DE is a 15 kilonewton in tension. DE, what is DE? Tension. So since I have made a mistake to put a sign here, so I'm supposed to change this this to the right, to the left. Sorry. Okay, so you can see that since I have make a mistake right here. Okay, so actually I'm supposed to make this to the this arrow supposed to the right. Sorry. Okay, so this must be downwards. Okay, so you can see that here is 15 kilonewton to the right, so this 15 kilonewton to the left. Okay, so okay, so it's supposed to be in this manner. Okay, so this is resultant, so this is component. Okay, so this is resultant, so this is component. Okay, so sorry for that. So I make some mistake on this, so I hope that you can identify the mistakes that I have done. Okay, so that's it for these sessions. Okay, if you have a problem with these easy methods, it look tedious, but then you need to do a lot of exercise on this to master this method. Okay, thank you for listening.